The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
There was a fourth grader in Crown Heights Yeshiva. He was on the spectrum. He was on the spectrum, definitely. And he was a schlemazel. He had stuff growing in his briefcase, sardine sandwiches that were already totally penicillin. Like, this was the kid with the tzitzis hanging out from his zipper, and he was dirty. He didn't take showers, whatever it was. Very dysfunctional family, and this kid himself was not very smart, and just was. All the kids didn't like him in class. They didn't like him. He just said the weirdest things. He made noises in the back of the class. It's like nobody liked him, but he was there. And they decided they're going to let him go. We can't have him in yeshiva. He just disturbs everybody. He's not doing well anyway. I said, you know what? Give me a week with him. Give me a week or two with him. Maybe I could turn him around. Okay? Give me a week or two with him. So during lunchtime, I went downstairs, and I used to sit next to him, and I taught him, I don't know where they were up to, whatever. I was teaching him Yisro's 7 names. Yeseh, Yisro, Patil, Reuel, all the different names. And I said Yisro had 7 names. He didn't only have 1 name. But he had Chayvav, he had a bunch of different names. And I would sit there every day, and I would say, Yisro has 7 names. How many names does Yisro have? 5. No. Yisro has 7 names. How many Yisro then? 3. And I'm like, no, 7. And this went on for like 2 weeks. And I kept telling him 7. Finally he got it. Anyway, I come into class, and the teachers here that are from my yeshiva know this, that recess to the boys is bigger than Mashiach. You want Mashiach or recess? Recess. Recess, I'm sure by the girls' schools. Recess? Extra recess? They'll do anything for extra recess. So I come into the class, 4th grade, and during Hebrew, and I'm like, I'm going to ask a question to the class, and if someone in this class gets it right, 15 minutes extra recess for the next week. And they're like, what? And the teacher's looking at me, I'm like, okay, here we go. Here's the question. They're only 4th graders. They had no idea Yisro, how many names he has, whatever it is. But this kid knew. I hoped he knew. I get up and I say, okay, if anyone can tell me how many names Yisro had, I want you to write it on a piece of paper, because if you say it right and then everyone agrees this is not going to count, I want everybody to write on a piece of paper how many names he had. If anyone gets it right in the class, the whole class gets recessed for an extra week. They're like, okay, one kid's right. 1, 3, 2, 1. Most of them were 1. They didn't know. This kid's sitting in the corner. I get all the papers, and I go through them, and my kid didn't answer. He doesn't write an answer. He didn't give in a paper. And I'm going through 1 wrong, 2 wrong, and all the kids are, 3 wrong. Oh, can we do it again? Can we do it again? And I'm like, Chaim, you didn't give me a paper. Oh, I don't know. What did you ask? I'm like, Chaim, listen to me. I was standing over his desk. Chaim, listen to me. How many names did Yisro have? And he looks at me like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I cannot believe this. I set this whole thing up. I wasted 2 weeks, right? I'm like, lunch, remember lunch? We were sitting together one day and we were like talking. How many names? Do you remember names? Yisro names. He looks up at me. Hashem's my witness. Saves Torah behind me. He looks up at me and he goes, I think 7. And the whole class is looking like he's an idiot. He doesn't even know what 7. Yisro has 7 names. I'm like, right! How did you know that? Right? Totally forgot that I taught it to him. Totally. Didn't say, oh, you told me? No. Totally forgot that I told him. The class jumped on this kid like he won the NFL superstar. He was a superstar of the whole world. An extra week of recess. Let me tell you something. I'm not telling you he graduated my school exactly very brilliant, but he made it through. And he was a 65, 66, sometimes a 70, and he really tried. But all the kids became his best friend because Chaim got them extra recess. What did I do? The whole thing wasn't really legal, right? I set it up. But I made him believe in himself, even though he doesn't realize that I'm the guy who did the whole thing. But he thought he's a genius, 7, and everyone's jumping on him. So once he had that, once you believe in yourself, then you believe you could do anything. You got to give a kid, even if you have to set it up as a teacher, you got to give a kid belief that he could do it.
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org.